it looks like we're getting a Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion, but it's not a reunion that we're used to, and it's definitely not with Andy Cohen. Plus, we have Shereé Whitfield, who is trying to get her spot back on Real Housewives of Atlanta now that Kenya is gone, and she claims that it's sinking. And we have a Teen Mom OG star that we just found now working at the airport. So lots of tea to get into. Let's dive in. You're listening to No Filter with Zach Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. Hi guys, happy Monday. What's going on? It is July. Wow, I can't believe we're already more than halfway through the year. It was just June, and yet now here we are. We're already deep into summer. It's going to be 4th of July. America, baby, baby, you're a firework. Yeah. What a time. What a time to be alive. But we have a lot to dive into. Happy July 1st. Yes. Hi, Susan. Susan with the Z. I love anybody that has a name with a Z. Happy July. Happy July 1st. I wonder if you guys are doing anything fun for 4th of July. I don't enjoy 4th of July particularly, so I'm going to be home. I'm going to stay home with the doggies because obviously they don't like fireworks. Well, I don't know. I don't think Sully really. People have been lighting damn fireworks at 3 in the morning. There were bitches lighting fireworks right out. Like, I'm like, why are you lighting fireworks at 3 in the morning? Why are you lighting fireworks? Period. It is too damn early to be lighting fireworks, and let alone at 3 in the morning. Like, people and their damn fireworks. It is not 4th of July. And you know what? On 4th of July, we should have a time frame in which fireworks are allowed, and then after that time frame, no more. Done. Yeah, we're over it. Thank you. Next, we celebrated. Happy America. Moving on. Actually, right now, are we even like, yeah, happy America after that fucked up debate? I don't know. Oh man. Welcome to America, baby, because they're drunk. Yeah, obviously. Nobody's like, hey, I'm sober. And you know what sounds like a good idea? Let me light a firework at 3 a.m. Obviously, they're drunk, but you know, we can ring it in, right? Especially because in downtown, people are lighting fireworks and then they bring helicopters over, and it's just like, oh my God. I'm just like, oof. But that's my rant. I'll have more of a 4th of July rant come 4th of July. Probably come 5th of July when the fireworks are still happening and I'm fucking over it. Okay. That debate was a freaking train wreck. It really was. It was, just like not a proud moment for the US, but um, here we go. That's why when everyone was shading me for going to a dinner with RFK Jr., who's also running for president, I'm like, you know what? Now I'm actually happy that I went to dinner with RFK and I, got to go see what his campaign is all about back in, well, when did I go? In April, May? I went to Arizona while he was campaigning. Now I wasn't embarrassed of it then, but now more so. I'm even I had zero embarrassment then, and even now I have even less embarrassment because I'm like, if that's what everybody's looking at is those two buffoons, then like, yeah, sorry, not well. I mean, it's not political; it's just cultural. It's what's happening in the world. It's happening what's in front of our eyes right now. There are memes all over the internet about it. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about it. And yeah, RFK is looking like a much better choice than those two buffoons. Okay, but let's get into some Jersey. Should we start with Jersey? Well, Salt Lake City, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, coming on in, welcome on in, welcome on in, welcome all in. Salt Lake City is ready to come on back. I guess it looks like we're going to get a premiere come August, September is around when they're going to be releasing the new season, which feels so soon. I feel like we just finished Salt Lake City and we just got out of production. So the fact that we're already going back into it, I'm kind of like, okay, let's get it. You know, we're a little short on Housewives content, and if it's a good season of Salt Lake City, let's go for it. There hasn't been a ton of leaks that have come out aside from the Mary Cosby versus Lisa Barlow stuff, where Mary called Lisa Barlow's son the R word. So yeah, well, that's really all the tea that came out. And then I know Meredith just did an interview and they were asking her about it and like, what can we expect from the new season? And she's like, well, I think what made the last season so great is that there weren't a ton of leaks. Like nobody really knew what was going to come. So that shock is what kept people on their toes, excited for the new season. So she's like, I'm not going to say anything. You're just going to have to wait and see. Hopefully it's a wait and see because it's good and not a wait and see because there's nothing to really tell. But we'll have to wait and see, but it looks like we're gonna get it a lot sooner. I mean, August, that's next month. I'm assuming it'll probably be like late August, early September. I didn't even realize they'd already wrapped production, but that's right. I forgot they went on their cast trip and they did the damn thing. We'll see where it goes. But so Salt Lake City's coming back soon. And then we also got some photos, or not some photos, but I think Brooks posted a photo. Brooks Marks, Meredith's son, posted a photo with Gia Giudice, Teresa's daughter, because they're filming their new Making It in Manhattan spinoff show, which remember everyone's like, "Oh my god, this is such a novel idea. We have Brooks and Gia together." Mind blown. And I'm just like, first of all, nothing about that photo looked interesting. Second of all, did we forget Brooks Marks had his own internet talk show? There was like a company. It's called, I think it was In the Know, which I think is no longer around. I actually don't know. I don't think they're around anymore. But it was a YouTube channel, and they gave Brooks Marks his own talk show where he got to talk to other famous reality star kids, and he interviewed Gia Giudice. And well, actually, nobody remembers that because nobody watched it. It was not very interesting. So everyone's like, "Oh my!" Everyone's like so excited, but I'm like, I don't know. Can Brooks carry his own? Well, actually, he couldn't carry his own show because I can't. He looks like a lovely kid, right? Nice boy. I know all the gays thirst after him, and he looks like a lovely person. But I'm just saying, like in terms of reality television content, like can he carry the show? Can Gia carry the show? Like Gia is good when she's fighting with like her uncle, but like she has a good, person to work off of, right? Joe Gorga is always going to have a personality. He's always going to have a presence on camera. Brooks doesn't really have a presence on camera. He's just a pretty face. Riley, I don't know if Riley's going to pop very much. I mean, we have Ariana Bierman. Um, I'm excited to see what the show brings because I feel like it's going to be young and fresh and, something exciting, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But people on Twitter were like really excited about it. And they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. I can't believe. I was like, I don't think it's that groundbreaking or novel of an idea. I feel like at some point we were going to expect the kids to either join the shows or get a spinoff or something. So, you know, we'll have to see what happens. Okay, let's talk about the reunion because I know that's what most people are here. Or yeah, let's talk about the reunion. Then we'll talk about Atlanta and it's Deb's OG. I think you know me. Okay, so Jersey coming to the end of the season, and apparently on July 15th is when they're going to be filming their. I guess it's not a real reunion, but it's like a special, like a season wrap up special that New Jersey is doing. And this is going to be happening July 15th, which is going to be interesting because it doesn't sound that exciting, to be honest with you guys. So this was originally tweeted by Real Housewives Real Housewives of New Jersey obsessed Jack, which I've confirmed with some additional details. So it says on July 15th, the alternative reunion will be filmed. The two sides will watch the finale scene at Rails separately and provide commentary, which sounds really lackluster. And so I checked. I'm like, is this true? And I found out that yes, it is true. It's possible that they have like some of the like mediators like Jen Fessler and Dolores that might be going back and forth. That might be I heard that the women were actually not thrilled about the fact that they weren't going to be getting a reunion because obviously that's money for them that they're losing. And I don't know. It sounds like some of the women may even be done with the show and like maybe ready to leave the show. And considering the climate that Bravo's in and just where Jersey's at right now, I feel like it may be better to be like, listen, I'm going to leave before it really goes under. and then it can be like, "Oh, I left the show and it went under when I left the show." So, we'll see. But so Jen Fessler, Dolores might be going back and forth between rooms, might film little individual scenes, TBD, and no Andy. So Andy Cohen will not be at this reunion special. To me, it sounds like a glamorized after show, right? There aren't gonna I don't think they're not gonna be one-on-one interviews. Not like it's not gonna be like a one I don't know. I think it's gonna be more like the after show, um, is what it's sounding like. No Andy, so the producers are gonna talk to them. I'm assuming they're just gonna watch what's happening and react to what's happening. They're probably gonna try to do it like they did with the Vanderpump Rules finale or and the final like 5 minutes of the finale that they showed to the cast and the cast reacted to it and discussed it. I'm assuming that's what it's going to be. And there are going to be some like not one-on-ones where like it's a one person on camera talking about it, but like a couple of like instances where they have like two people that are in conflict that will hopefully try to resolve it. Like Teresa and Danielle will maybe do a one-on-one sit down and kind of see if they can resolve their issues. And I'm just like, "Really? That sounds, like, dumb, to be honest with you." But I guess they wanna, like, have some sort of conclusion, but you know what I want? I don't even need the regular Bravo reunion. You know what I want? I want the Mob Wives style reunion. Remember that? No big glorified set. When the Mob Wives came in and the Mob Wives did their reunions, they all they needed was an empty room, a fold-up table, some folding chairs, and they just came in, they sat at the table, and they were ready to just hash it out, mob style. That's the type of Jersey reunion that I want. I don't need glam dresses because when they came in, remember that? Remember the one with Drita? Where they're like, this is the final sit down of the Mob Wives. And then all the girls are sitting there and they're talking about the show. And they have Big Ange. And Big Ange comes in before she passed away. And she got to share how good life was. And then we have Drita. And they brought Drita in last. Who was a Mob Wife and who remembers this? They brought Drita in last and she had her fur coat on and she walked, she strutted in with she had a nice little handbag, her purse there. And then she walks in, throws her purse on the table and she said, "Get up, Karen." And then Karen gets up and then they try to go out and then security comes and they throw Karen down and they throw Carla down on the table. And it was security was like, boom. That was wild. And then they had to remove Karen and Karen had to watch it from like a back room while she was on camera. Drita came in swinging. She's like, "Get up, Karen." And then Karen just didn't even flinch. They just went at it like hard. I was like, damn. Drita was a real one, yo. Drita was no games. Drita was hardcore. She was like, "Listen, if we're gonna do a reunion, we ain't gonna sit here and hash it out. We're gonna hash it out the old school way with our fists. If you're gonna be using your mouth, it's because my fist is gonna be going through your teeth." That was wild. That was like the best. I would love to rewatch Mob Wives. Where can we watch that? Is it on any of these on any of these streaming platforms? They don't have to like rent and pay for. They don't need Andy, but they need something. I don't even think I would wanna come in. Mm-mm. I wouldn't even wanna come and host this. But I do think, as much as I want Mob Wives back and that but I want that style like, they didn't need the big flashy set, right? It didn't need to be the big production. It was straight up just folding chairs in a warehouse in, like, Brooklyn. Or I don't even think it was Brooklyn, I think it was, like, the Bronx, right? Right down the street from where JLo grew up. Oh, it was wild. It was just crazy, 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 and so good. It those lady Dorita was hardcore. Renee, oh my god, Renee. Have y'all kept up with Renee? Oh, she and her Photoshop is wild. I was looking at this the other day. Um, she since deleted it because I think enough people called her out about it. But it was so funny. She posted these photos on her Instagram where the Photoshop was like so bad. Her body, she had like a little arm, like she was drunk when she was doing the Facetune with these, but like just look at like, it's not even a real face. It was so overdone, and all of her photos are, like, so over photoshopped, but it's funny because if you look at the photo that she posted, she has her arm there, and it's, like, this little short arm because she was, like, trying to cinch in her stomach and make her boobs still look big, but it was wild. It was hilarious, but, like, so bad. But then the funny thing too, and then you can see her little arm, and then people were making fun of her because then they were saying that she looks like, do you remember, Scary Movie, the Anna Faris movies? Where they were like parody horror films. And so one, I think it was Scary Movie 2, where there was the guy that they brought them all. It was supposed to be like House on Haunting Hill, where they all come to the mansion. They're supposed to stay there, and then there's this creepy man there, and he has a little arm, and so everyone was putting the memes of the man with the little arm. But the funny thing to me, which most people didn't catch, was these were all the photos from the slides, right? And if you zoom in, you look at Karen. I mean, yeah, she looks all glammed and her body looks all photoshopped and whatnot. And it looks awkward and weird. She was clearly drunk when she was doing this. But look at her hair, right? Oh, so cute. We have a cute little ponytail and the sunglasses. Oh, so cute. We have a cute little ponytail and the sunglasses. But then you keep sliding through the photos, and then all of a sudden, in one of the photos, she has bangs. And I'm like, when does she get bangs? Why does she Photoshop bangs in one photo and no bangs in the next photo? I'm like, how did that happen? Like, not only does she have the little arm, but then she has bangs. I'm like, what? So it was just funny. That shit was hilarious. I was like, okay, it was a good one. Renee looks why every time I go, I think, is it on TikTok? Every time I go on TikTok, she's live on TikTok, like, all the time, and I'm like, first of all, I don't even follow you, and second of all, why are you, like, how are you always live, and how has your phone not died? But yeah. So, Jersey reunion, um, filming July 15th, no Andy, them really just reacting to the finale. It's really all it is and kind of discussing it, so that's as exciting as we're gonna get from Jersey. What I think that they may actually start to move reunions in this direction, to be honest with you, because a lot of, like, the loudmouths on Twitter are like, "Oh my god, the reunions are so toxic, and it's just we're just not in that place anymore where we tolerate this type of behavior on camera." Ugh. And so I think that this is probably the direction that reunions may move in, and since Andy Cohen's not gonna be at this reunion special, I would assume maybe this is an opportunity for Andy to start to phase himself out of doing the reunions, because you can just tell he doesn't really enjoy the reunions as much anymore. They're really long, they're kind of daunting, they're kind of fatiguing, and so I think they're gonna start to mix things up, and I think that it's possible that they may move in this direction. That's my own speculation. I don't have any, like, confirmation that that's their plan moving forward, but it's essentially like an after show. And I think that's probably what they'll end up doing is turning the reunions into that after show sit down special, right? You can tell Andy gets annoyed during the reunions. Yeah, I agree, Cassie. I think he's just in a different place, right? I think he'll still do BravoCon. He'll still do Watch What Happens Live because that's been renewed for another couple of seasons. So I think he'll keep doing Watch What Happens Live and he'll keep doing BravoCon as like the face of Bravo. But I think he's done with the reunions. I think he was ready to cut something off of his plate. He's just in a different chapter of his life, right? You know, he's a dad now. He has 2 kids. I'm sure he wants to slow down a little bit. He doesn't need to be working as hard, but I'm sure he loves to still work. So he's going to keep up as much as he can. I wouldn't be surprised if he writes another book and maybe does another like tour with Anderson Cooper. Like, you know, he has his New Year's Eve gig with Anderson. So I think he'll continue to work and take on other projects. But I think when you've been doing the same thing for so long, like eventually you feel a little stunted and not creatively challenged. And I think with the reunions, he's ready to move on from that. Again, no confirmation of his direction or, you know, inside plans for the company. That's my own conjecture. That's my own speculation about it. But as of right now, there are no plans to have him at the Jersey special. So Bravo should let you and Kempire host the reunions. I wouldn't be against that. I don't know. I wouldn't be against. Listen, if Bravo came to me and they're like, "Hey, we want you to host a reunion," I would absolutely jump at it. I don't think that they would, though. They're gonna go for, like, a Michael Rappaport, they're gonna go for, like, a Jerry O'Connell. Um, if they're gonna pick somebody from, like, the Bravo content podcast world, they'll probably go with, like, a Danny Pellegrino, who already has an in with the network and is already really close to Andy. Um, but they're gonna pick, like, a name, right? Like, remember when Nicki Minaj did the Potomac reunion and she got to come in and ask a few questions? Like, that's what I think the direction that they would probably go in if they bring in a guest host for a reunion special. Okay, so that's what we got from Jersey. There you go. Salt Lake City coming back August, September, making in Manhattan, filming right now. So let's move on to Atlanta because we have Shereé Whitfield coming out of it looked like a market or something. She was in a strip mall, and you can see Marshall's in the background. She's in her athleisure. She's got her She by Shereé hat on. And she's like, oh my God, paparazzi in Atlanta. What a coinky dink. Right? Because the paparazzi are just following her all around. Um, you know, following her all around Atlanta because that's where the paparazzi love to hang out. It was clear she called the paparazzi or her team called the paparazzi to set this all up so that she can deliver these lines. She says that, she left the show because the coin wasn't right, but if the coin's right, then she'll come back to the show. And clearly the show is sinking after Kenya left, but she's like, it's okay. Kenya's a survivor. Kenya will make it. Kenya will last. She'll be all right. Like, I'm not worried about Kenya, but she is worried about the show. And they're like, would you ever come back? And she's like, "Oh, what a novel question. Would I ever come back?" She's like, "Of course I would come back as an OG. I'm an OG. I got to come back as an OG." I'm like, we get it. You're an OG. But also, they got rid of Nene. So I don't know how. Nene was the OG of Real Houses of Atlanta. Okay. Shereé was fine, but I felt like she didn't really deliver much when they brought her back. Like, I wasn't actively like watching for Shereé. But that whole little TMZ interview that she was giving, I was like, Shereé, what are we doing? Like, girl, what are we doing? She said that she would come back if the coin is right and the show is sinking. And, if they needed an OG to come and save it, she's like, it's always good when you bring in an OG. People love when you bring back an OG, and an OG, that's me. So she's ready to return to Atlanta. She didn't have much shade. It seems like nobody's, like, upset or throwing shade at Kenya. Everyone seems like they're, I don't know, everyone seems like they're supporting Kenya and kind of standing by her. I know Candy's gone really hard to go to bat for Kenya. The other women seem to be rallying behind Kenya, so it's a bummer. I think the show will struggle without Kenya, especially if they edit her out altogether, which I'm hearing is something that they're considering. That way they don't have to pay her for the new season. I was like, "Oof. Mm-mm, 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 mm." I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen next, but I think Atlanta's dead. Jersey's dead. New York is dead. Oh my god. New York sounds worse and worse every time there's an update about this RHONY reboot. And they're like, "Oh, we added a new person. It's a Scientologist. Oh, we added a new person. They're not only a person of color, but and they're queer. And we have a Scientologist. And we're doing this and we're doing." I'm like, "What are we doing?" Like, I am all for diversity on these shows, but, like, when we have to, like, make all of these, like, leaked announcements that, like, it's like, "Oh, and then, I'm waiting for them to add the partridge in the pear tree to the cast of New York." If you need this many gimmicks and you need, this many woke terms to describe your new cast members, how good is the content of your show? Like, why are you leaning on showing the diversity of the show rather than leaning on the actual quality of the content of the show? That's where I'm a little like, I don't have much faith in these New York ladies, you know? The fact that they even brought Jenna Lyons back, I was like, that was fucking stupid. And then they bring in Rebecca Minkoff because she's a Scientologist. And I was like, that's a little bit of a stretch. Like, now we're trying to just mix in, some interesting characters. And then I saw the latest casting update and I was just like, oh my goodness. I don't know. Okay. I wasn't super hooked or jazzed by the reboot last time, and I don't have much faith anymore. NYC, isn't that reflective of the city? I don't think diversity is a gimmick. No, it's absolutely reflective of it. But when you're intentionally trying to make it, uh, I think it's leaning a little too hard into it. And my whole thing is like diversity should be natural, right? Like it should be organic. It should just be an accurate representation of women of New York. But if we have to showcase how all of these women are so unique and so different, I think it's because I was literally just having a conversation with the casting producer about something completely not related, but they were talking about how like the casting world has become so challenging because now when you're pitching things to the network, like it's not just enough to be, John and Kate plus 8 where you have 8 kids, or, Octomom where you're interesting in one asset. Like you have to have this and that, and it has to be, you need to make it super shiny and have all the different, elements and all the bells and whistles of like, you need to add people of color and people that are queer, and you can't just be gay. Now you have to be, queer with the queer kids and the trans child. And it's like they're trying too hard to make these more diverse rather than just trying to find organic relationships with people and focus these shows on these lifestyles of these incredible women. Like I'm sure Rebecca Minkoff is like these new women that they're adding to the show. I'm sure they're incredible women that live incredible lifestyles. But when we're constantly focusing on what makes them so unique, I'm just like, then you're using that to kind of, it does feel gimmicky, and it doesn't feel like it's about the quality of the show and the relationships and the lifestyles, which is what Real Housewives is about, right? It's supposed to show the culture of New York, not how unique all of the characters are. If the characters are unique, then it'll actually just be good. Maybe the content will surprise you. I'm hoping so, but I don't have much faith. If this is what we're getting, then I don't have much faith in it. Um, college brochure. Yeah. Cannot get into Dubai yet. I tried to watch it. Yeah, Dubai's not. I don't know. Dubai hasn't hooked me. Not that interested. Especially, I know a lot of people are complaining that Dubai, um, it's so after the fact from when Dubai was filmed to when they're airing it that people just aren't as interested in the content. Like they waited too long. I mean, we also saw they aired what the first episode or the first 2 episodes of BravoCon, which was back in what October? Yeah, October, November. So it's like here we are in the summer. It's been like 8 months since they released the first episode, and now we're barely, 8 months after they had a first episode edit, and now, you know, it's just yeah. So there we go. Nancy Dew says I started watching OC from day one, and they wrapped the first couple of seasons, and the way they wrapped the first couple of seasons was so different than today. Not surprised that they're redoing Jersey. Trying, you know, they're trying to. We'll see what happens. We'll see. But they killed Atlanta. They killed New York. They killed Atlanta. They're killing Jersey. Like it's all going. I'm like, guys, we need to be able to save it. We need to be able to save it. Save the Housewives, or just start to. I mean, listen, they're trying. They had Ultimate Girls Trip, but then Caroline fucked that up. Caroline Manzo, and then they have Making It in Manhattan, which is new and different. And some of the shows that I hear are in production right now, I think they're trying to make sure it's not all Housewives focused, but like trying to branch out. They need to start doing like what VH1 and MTV are doing, right? Where they have all these different mashup spinoffs, right? E has House of Villains. We have The Traitors. Like, that these mashup shows work, like MTV and The Challenge. Netflix is doing the same thing with Perfect Match, where they're bringing all of these reality stars from different dating shows and putting them on one show. Like, that's what we need to do. I feel like they're a little behind the curve on that because Netflix is ahead of the game and VH1's ahead of the game and MTV's ahead of the game. People like those mashup shows where you bring some of their favorite characters. This is why I think Traitors did so well. You bring up the characters that people love, but you don't need them in this toxic environment that's Housewives world anymore. And it's not about women trying to take each other down, but it's about trying to compete for some sort of competition, or doing a girls trip where you kind of put them in this new environment where they don't have an opportunity to build a manila envelope on each other and try to get each other and take each other down, you know, which is kind of what these shows have kind of felt like they've molded into. Brittany says, unpopular opinion, but I think pausing Vanderpump Rules is a mistake. We need these shows to come back faster so we don't lose interest. I'm glad you said that because there's something that happened last week that I talk about on members only in relation to Vanderpump Rules with something that happened with Bravo that I was kind of a little upset about, but also tried to talk through the logic of it, and it made zero sense. And I've talked to a few other people in the industry, and to them, it made zero sense either. It was ultimately a situation that got resolved, but it was strange, you know? They kind of did it with Ultimate Girls Trip and Winter House. Yeah, and I think those did well. Um, and I think the more that they try to mix that up and the more they keep pushing those shows forward, you get to keep the talent in new arenas that feel fresh without it, having to be elongating or dragging out what was already, what's already been expired. I'm still liking Southern Charm and Summer House and the one-off shows. Yeah, those are good. Vanderpump Rules was melting down. They needed a pause. I agree. They did need a pause. I'm a little worried though about there being too much of a pause. Tap at the coffee. Okay. Tap at the salon takeover. Those would be kind of fun. Like, listen, when they did Sonia and Luann Campy Lake or Crappy Lake, that was fun. That I think if they do more shows like that, right? Like they came to fix up Crappy Lake. Like Tabitha Takeover did great. I don't know if we could redo Tabitha Takeover. I think if they tried to reboot it now, I don't think it would be as successful. But like they can take some of the Housewives talent and like maybe, well, I don't know. Lisa Vanderpump's had like 50,000 spinoffs and they don't tend to do well except for Vanderpump Rules. But I just think there are ways to keep trying to throw things at the wall, and it's also budget friendly, right? Rather than keeping these housewives 18 seasons deep with their high salary season after season, we can put them in a new show in a new environment that's a little shorter and just kind of until something they find really works and sticks. I think that's fun. Dorinda's I Made It Nice Christmas show. That would be interesting. People love Dorinda. People love Slurrinda. Put her in a holiday themed spot with lots of martinis and we can have a good time. Even if it's like an ultimate girls trip at Bluestone Manor where the ladies come to celebrate, a holiday getaway with Dorinda, and she gets to have holiday festivities and they get lit and have a good time. Like that would be, and they play like, um, you know, competition games at Bluestone Manor that are Christmas themed, right? Pin the carrot on the snowman. Make sure you put it on his face and it's not his dick. Maybe they can do reality competitions with a combo of Bravo Labs. I think that they should do that. Listen, when VH1 had like Rock of Love and Flavor of Love, and then they started doing I Love Money, where all of them would compete for money. Like imagine if they took some of like the Brandy, the ones that kind of need the money now, they put them on a competition show where they're competing for money. Like they would absolutely have fun with that. Or the single Bravos. Remember when had famously single? That was great. Imagine putting all of the single eligible bachelors, like a Bachelor in Paradise style show with like Shep and Austin and Catherine and who's single on Vanderpump Rules? Lala. Like I think that would be fun. Could you imagine them all in a house together? All the whores of Bravo, men and women in a house together, like the perfect match, like Bachelor in Paradise, like put all of them together in a house, like famously single, and see where it goes? JB says, I hate all of these ideas. Well, JB, then come up with something good. They're going on other networks for those shows. So why not? I agree. Bravo should keep it all in-house. I think could you imagine? That would be fun. A LA Big Brother After Dark style. I mean, I don't know if it should be Big Brother style, but I mean, if they put them in a house together well, I don't know, but then that's also challenging because now Bravo's over here with Brandy Glanville and sexual harassment with Caroline Manzo. That it's like, would they even be able to do something like that? Because, Gigi from Shaws of Sunset, throw her in the house too. That would be fun. That would be fun. The Hunger Games. No, the Thirsty Games. The Horny Games is what we'll call it. Oh, wait. Okay. So there is another, speaking of MTV, there is one other thing that I saw that's been going around TikTok because obviously we've been talking a lot about Teen Mom OG lately. And Janelle, well, Janelle, Janelle's now back on Teen Mom OG, and then we had Tyler and Farrah, and we were talking about all of them because Amber Portwood, her fiance, went missing, and now the engagement's been called up because he wasn't missing. He was just running away from her, and he was trying to hide, and she, you know, they thought that she Carol Baskined him, but she didn't Carol Baskin him. He was just trying to get away from her before she fed him to the tigers. Anyway, on the topic of Teen Mom OG, Deb's OG has been spotted, you guys. Deborah Danielson, who's Farrah Abraham's mother, has been spotted working at TSA. Now, I don't know if there's confirmation that this is her. I'm assuming that this is her because it looks exactly like her. But so this TikTok has gone viral. Let's see. What was the account that I found it on? It's now been shared a few different times. By a few different accounts, but the one I found it on this morning was called Pop Cup of Tea. Pop Cup of Tea. And it was at the Denver International Airport, which is where I believe Deborah lived and where Farrah's from. I mean, look at Deb's OG is working at TSA. So she's the one that checks your ID when you get into the TSA line before you go through security, and you have to show them your ID and they look up your ticket. And so she's the one you check in with that. She looks at it and she makes sure that's you, and then they move you on through. It's Deb's OG. I know you know me. You might see me on TV. It looks like Carol Baskin. It does, Lori. It does not look like Carol Baskin. Carol Baskin killed her husband, whacked him. Can convince me that it didn't happen. Farrah is from Council Bluffs, Iowa. Oh, really? Damn, Deb. She's a train wreck, but at least she got a job. Good for her, right? At least she got a job. At least she's working. You know? At least she's working. Hey, Nikki said, put that Karen attitude to use. Yeah. I can totally see her working TSA. Could you just imagine? You're walking through TSA, like you're in Denver at the airport trying to catch your flight, trying to catch another flight. And the next thing you know, you run into Deb's OG and you're like, hey. And she's like, do you know me? You might see me on TV. Deb's OG was a real one. She would thrive in that job. Yes, she would. Yes, she would. I miss Janelle's mom, Barb. I want to know what Barb's up to these days. Where's Barb at? Because Barb was in this economy, Janelle, trying to pay my rent, getting minimum wage, barely making it, Janelle. She was great. Barb was a real one. Whew. You're either getting through with everything or nothing. Yeah. She needs to check that bag. I gotta be at that airport. Yeah, okay. If anybody's in Denver, go to and you're going on a flight, gonna catch another flight. See if you spot Deb's OG. Like that would be. I literally could not imagine. You know, could not imagine running into Deb's OG. That would bring me life. I feel like I have to catch a flight to Denver just to see. I don't think I've ever been to Denver. I just think the era of Housewives is kind of coming to a humble close. See, but if you roll back the footage, I've been saying this for a couple years now. I think back in 2022, I said that Bravo was coming, like the shelf life on Bravo was, or Housewives was coming to an end. I say I'd give it about 5 years. We're now 3 years deep and we're starting to see the collapse. We're starting to see it wrap. Orange County looks like it's going to be good. And there was a resurgence with Orange County. So maybe there is some life after, after the reality reckoning, but we'll have to see. Take a photo with her, please. You best believe I'm going to take a photo with Deb's OG if I see her. I just have no reason to go to Denver. Well, I guess finding Deb's OG, finding Deb's OG is on the bucket list. That would be a good reason to go to Denver. Wasn't Barb at Walmart? Did Barb work at Walmart? Like she still works at Walmart? Somebody go to Walmart and see if they can find us some Barb. Well, Janelle. Thank God Zach doesn't have the word Bravo in any of his accounts or podcast. I never did. I never wanted to. And now everyone wants to switch their brands, and we'll see how long that lasts. It's what happens when you try to build a cheater brand. And we've never been Bravo specific. But I do want to give a couple shout outs to some people that left some reviews on Apple Podcasts. If you guys leave a review on Apple Podcasts for No Filter, Disaster Daters, or The Pop Report, I will make sure that you get entered into win some free merch. I'm going to be giving away some free merch this week. You can get one of the iconic Find Me at Jason's t-shirts. I'll be giving away some merch. So leave a review. For every review that you leave, you will get you'll get another entry. So you have up to 3 chances that you can enter. That's to leave a review for The Pop Report, No Filter, or Disaster Daters. Tom Schwartz is going to be on Disaster Daters this week. So get ready for that. I think I have a well, I posted a clip on Instagram that you can see. It's not very long. It's like 10 seconds, but it's Schwartz. And we talked to him all about dating after divorce. So Tuesday, tomorrow, Tom Schwartz is going to be on Disaster Daters to help us kick off an all new season, which I'm very excited about. So get it. Why only on Apple? Well, I mean, you can do Spotify as well if you'd like. Apple's just where you can leave an actual like review. So leave a review, screenshot it, DM it to me. And when you DM it to me, I'll make sure I enter you in. Kind of a disaster, Tom Schwartz. It's fun. We talk about dating after divorce. So Tom Schwartz, new season of Disaster Daters drops this Tuesday, which I'm very excited about. So if you want to, enter to win some free merch, definitely go leave us some reviews and be sure to check out Disaster Daters new season this Tuesday. But I did want to give a couple shout outs for people that did leave some reviews. We have JC Carmona 1985 saying, longtime fan, going daily has made me so happy. Love the show. Love the new cover. You are the best. Thank you, JC J Carmona. Then we have Mama Rack. Mama Rack says, Zach is hysterical. My 21-year-old daughter got this old lady to start listening to podcasts because of my long drive to work. Zach is the best. He has a great sense of humor. I love to listen to him. Thank you, Mama Rack. And then we have a really nice one from 2V Land who says, don't listen to the haters. Added, Zach is hilarious when it comes to Zach is hilarious and comes across so real. I respect what he shares, his insights, and what he chooses to keep private. His sense of humor makes it so fun to listen to. I'm not much of a watcher, so I love being able to listen. It's so much fun to hear Zach's takes, whether or not I agree with them. I always learn something about people, pop culture, and humanity. I love the attitude and I love the sincerity that comes through the awesome snark, and still worth the inexpensive membership. Probably worth more, but give him a chance. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Zach, are you dating? You know, I am. But there was a very interesting story that happened while I was out over the weekend. Which maybe I'll save as a members only story that I'll talk about on Thursday. But it was, oh man. Well, actually, I was out. Well, yeah, I know. Well, I'm bad at saving stuff. I'll give you the long version on members only this week, but long story short, I was out with someone that Jeff says it's called, well, I guess the episode hasn't aired on Disaster Daters yet, but he calls it In Cahoots. You'll learn more about my dating life on Disaster Daters, but it was just interesting because I was out on a date and then we ended up going for a drink at High Tops in West Hollywood. I normally don't ever go to West Hollywood, but when you're hanging out with somebody that's a little more social, you go out. So we went out to High Tops in West Hollywood, only to run into dun dun dun, dun my mother. So yeah, we ran into my mother, which was just kind of funny. But I'll give you all the deets on that on members only this week. But I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I hope you are having a great start to your week. Happy Monday. I will be here all week long, even on 4th of July. I know some people like to take off holidays, but I don't. I'm here for you, with you, all together now. Let's get it. Don't forget to leave a review for The Pop Report, Disaster Daters, and No Filter. Be sure to send me your screenshots if you want to enter to win some free merch. Go check it out. New episodes of Disaster Daters kick off. New season kicks off this Tuesday, July 2nd. So get ready for it. Tom Schwartz is going to be on. Thank you guys for listening, supporting. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll talk to you tomorrow because that's what it is. That's where we go. Laura says, is there still members only with the 4th Thursday? What do you mean members only with the 4th Thursday? We always have members only. on Thursdays, whether we have 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 5 weeks. The fourth Thursday of July is the 25th. Yeah, of course there's going to be a members only on the 25th. I'm not sure what that comment meant, but I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I will talk to you. Zach, what are the odds? I know, right? Daniela says, I'm only expecting anything decent from the New York show, possibly from RHOSLC. Oh, but she's Bierman. I thought they changed their last names to Bierman. They're not Zolciak. I don't know. All right. Ciao for now, guys. Talk to you later. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. I'll be live again Tuesday. Probably a little early on Tuesday because I tape the prop report on Tuesdays and I have to be in studio by 9 a.m. So, yeah. All right. Love you, mean it. Bye.